that Facebook had seen, and if you look at it, the pattern in which the communities are connected, maybe you would need to redefine the way how states are there. Why is that? Because actually you can address policies for how the communities are there together. And the other problem is something like this, right? When you have certain bad things you want to say or do, in a real world you're kind of scared, okay? It's, for example, he wants to tell that I'm making a bad presentation, he has a problem telling it. But maybe he would tweet it directly, because I'm not going to hit him or I'm not going to scold him. So if you have certain bad behaviors, the new technology will actually help you exhibit it without any inhibitions, which gets really complicated. Not a good thing to have, but then we have to face the fact that technology is going to be a good platform which can amplify certain social bad behaviors which we have as human beings. Now, as we get these kind of bad behaviors, we have to live with it. That's what is going to happen. Now, what is the way of getting out of something like that? There's no real easy way. But one thing is, in order to not to fall into a trap, you become aware of it. That's the best that you can do. What are the kind of things that you can become aware of to not get into disorders? Spam, right? I mean, like, it happens so much of time. In fact, how many of you have had a hire who was willing to give you $1 billion? I'm sure quite many of you have got those emails. When people load Facebook of their kids online, personally, I'm not too comfortable with that, because the fact is, my kids today think their life is their own. Now, the moment I put it on Facebook, it's become public and it's gone. I can never take it offline again. Their image, how they looked, how they feel, has become public information. Well, then there are some other guys who go out of their way to tweet about what they are doing. Nothing. They actually literally tweet about nothing. Why? Because it kind of makes them popular and cool. And a lot of people, and other than spamming the timelines of others, I don't know, they do get popular. Now, there was an interesting mashup of using Foursquares, which kind of mashes your tweet along with your location that you have, and you go to this site and type your city, you can actually find out who are all the people who are not at home. Like, how many of you tweeted you are at TechEd? I'm sure all of you will come out on that list telling you are not at home. Well, that's pretty interesting, right? Maybe you should offer it as a service to people, and you might have certain people who are willing to pay for it. People.com is another place where you actually go and search for information. You will be amazed at the kind of information that you get at yourself. Now, is that a good thing? It's a good thing and a bad thing. Like, see, as humans, we always tend to have a face and project it. And when we interact with others, we want to tell or talk something what they want to know. If you look at it, when you can profile a person of what he is, you can actually project the way that they want you to be seen. Okay? So that becomes a little tough thing. And the other thing is about what children today they blog or what they do. What's the kind of information that they are putting out on the internet? That needs to be taught to them. There's a site called chatroulette.com. It's supposed to be a fun site. It says that you go on that site, you're talking with somebody, you don't like them, you hit a next, or they will hit a next and you will get somebody else. So you keep on talking to random people and facing them and talking stuff with them. I don't know, but it's supposed to be popular and fun for people out there. Talking to a stranger just like that out of the blue, I don't know, but it's there. Passwords, well, passwords, let's not talk about it. So many times, the best place to find an admin password is on the screen of your system administrator. It will be on a yellow note. Try it out, most probably you can find it. Or, let's say you're using an ATM card. I'm sure there'd be a decent percentage who uses their day of the month and the year of the month or their year of birth as their PIN. Okay, please change that. So it's kind of things like this. Credit cards, at least in the IT population, architects crowd here, I don't think you would be making so much of a mistake over here. But then there are still people out there who give out their credit cards very simple and very easily. And emails, okay, can be so easily read by people outside. We've had cases in which there are countries willing to pay money to read emails of people who they don't like. It's become so simple. So what exactly is the information that you want to share over email? How much is it? What is that email medium that you're trying to use? It's becoming a really tough problem in terms of, one, is that what information that you put, and second is that hacking is not a bad thing anymore. It's a great profession to have. Countries are paying people. There are organizations paying. There's organized syndicates who are willing to pay money to get hackers on board. So in fact, there is, forget hackers as a person, okay? If you have a Wi-Fi network, there's a particular tool that you download from a site. You capture the data package that happens between your PC and your Wi-Fi network, capture that packet and give it to the service. It can actually give you the security code that was used, which is for connecting to that. There are some lower, not so advanced tools as well, where you get a source code, you put it on a hosting service, and then they only give you the source code. They don't give you the service. But then you can actually give a set of keywords to that, and then it can actually figure out the password which you would want to use somewhere. The fact is that you have all these different services, and with privacy going down, we really have to be careful about what we are trying to do. The other key thing in the IT world today happens to be the knowledge workers. Who are these knowledge workers? Knowledge workers are the guys who don't do mechanical stuff. They don't do stuff with their hands or legs, right? For example, a mechanical engineer is one who would go to a lathe, do a drilling, or cut something and do something. Knowledge workers are something who do something with their brains. Typically, knowledge workers are guys like you and me who work in software. That's kind of obvious. Then you've got teachers, you've got doctors, you've got lawyers. These guys are ones who actually use their brain to do their stuff. They are in for a big challenge. You know what's happening in today's world? People want knowledge workers to do more and more and more, and for less and less and less, okay? Which is actually making you more and more and more pissed. This is the kind of output that you want to do. Is your project manager saying, "ठीक है यार, it's okay, deliver it after 2 days"? No. It's always coming down and down. Imagine a teacher who has to compete with this particular site. Okay, you have this poor, normal neighborhood teacher who's trying to teach physics, and the children already have gone through this YouTube of presentation on a particular topic. How do you expect a teacher in a next door college or a school competing with that? But teachers also have an advantage. There's this site where when students give their assignments for submission, what's going to happen is they can actually praise it on this. It actually does searches of the assignment that's published and says whether it has been plagiarized and it has been copied from somewhere or not. So this also helps teachers, but then it's getting really challenging. Lawyers used to make a lot of money out of scarcity of information. You didn't know where to go. You didn't know what to do, what form, what number, kind of things. You had so much of problems doing that. But today, there are sites. In India, a little bit of them. In India, it's more of informational sites. But in US, you really have transactional sites where you can actually do a reverse bidding. You can say, you know what, I want to get a divorce, for how much can you go? You have lawyers coming in doing a reverse auctioning of their services. You have doctors, right? You want to go to a doctor, another knowledge worker. And before going to a doctor, you can go on the internet and you can kind of find out what he is, how much of research that he has done,